is over. I don't agree with Erling Haaland is the best striker we've ever seen in the Premier League, because I just think that is the sensationalist nonsense that does no service to the history of this great league. And what I mean by that is that Erling Haaland, if anybody thought Erling Haaland was going to flop, by the way, what are you on? Like, it was very, very obvious that when you bring a striker that can do everything, is powerful, is quick, can score with both feet, outside and in, and head, and physical, of course he's going to be a success in that Manchester City side. I genuinely think you could put Shea Adams up front from Southampton and he'd score goals.
Welcome back to the Football Terrace, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen Erling Haaland take the league by storm. City on course in most people's eyes, including Mark Goldbridge's, to win their third Premier League title on the bounce, their fifth Premier League title in a 6-year period. Of course, only Liverpool stopping them in recent times. They're already on the back of 2 back-to-back titles with Liverpool in the middle. Haaland has come in and he has been, the word sensational, in my view, is an understatement. Haaland to have 15 goals in his first 9 Premier League games. I don't even know. Maybe I should have researched this before I went live. But this season alone, what does he have? He's surely got over 20 goals this season in all competitions. The last time I checked. And I'm going to do that now while we're live. I didn't even look at that. 20 in 13. 20 goals in 13 games for this man. It's beyond sensational. It's the greatest start to a Premier League career for a striker ever. No striker has been this good in their opening 13 games as a Premier League football player. Not in my opinion. And I understand Mark's logic that it's because he's part of this Man City team that he's doing it. I'm going to call a little bit of BS on that, though. I'm going to call a little bit of BS on that. Mark makes some very good points, but he's also being called out a lot. Firstly, people calling him out for saying that people are being sensationalist. Of course, Goldbridge is going to be called out for that. Mark Goldbridge is, in my opinion, the best football content creator ever. He is the ultimate goat. He's above every. He's so good, so strong, so powerful, so popular that him making a lasagna will trend. Him making spaghetti bolognese gets more views than any other football content creator. Point blank, he's that good. So don't take this as me knocking him, but he's now moved into the mainstream media space, and I think it's right that we react to the things that he says because he's got this huge influence over the game that we all love, and that's why we're doing it. By the way, make sure you're downloading the OneFootball app. You can scan that QR code on the screen or click on the link in the description. Make sure like buttons are being hit and shared and all that jazz. But let's go back to what he said in the beginning in case you missed it. I want to go back to the start here.
This is the best Premier League side ever. I don't agree with the title race is over. I don't agree with Erling Haaland is the best striker we've ever seen in the Premier League.
So let me just start with that little bit there with Goldbridge. Firstly, I'll say this. Greatest team ever. They're there or thereabouts, this Man City team. I think they've got to add a Champions League to the mix. I think the trophy element is very, very key. They're definitely one of the most dominant sides ever. This Man City team with the Champions League goes neck and neck with Man United's 99 team and what they won in that 5-6 year span, and Man United's 08 team and what they won in that 5-6 year span around that. They go into that category without a shadow of a doubt. I agree with Mark Goldbridge that this league title race is not over yet, because I don't agree with 9 games in just completely writing things off. I think that's the only thing here that's sensationalist. Who knows what is around the corner for Man City? You know, to suggest that it's over means you're ignoring the possibility of injuries. You're ignoring the possibility that Arsenal could go to another level. We saw last year, Liverpool nearly caught them. Now, they've got Haaland this year that's scoring goals, but what if Haaland picked up a bad injury? You know, and what I mean by that is to say nothing like that's going to happen, I think shows that you don't know sport. You don't know football. Therefore, Goldbridge is bang on about that. But this notion that Haaland isn't the best striker that we've ever seen, I think it's an interesting one how people frame this. You're right. He isn't right now beyond Aguero, beyond Kane, beyond Wayne Rooney, beyond Eric Cantona, beyond Andy Cole, beyond Thierry Henry. But he set the foundation to be better. I think he is a better finisher than all of those players. I think he's better than all of them. Van Nistelrooy, the lot. What he now needs to do is have a prolonged period of time at this level to prove it. But there looks like there's no signs of that slowing down.
Because I just think that is the sensationalist nonsense that does no service to the history of this great league. And what I mean by that is that Erling Haaland, if anybody thought Erling Haaland was going to flop, by the way, what are you on? Like, it was very, very obvious that when you bring a striker that can do everything, is powerful, is quick, can score with both feet, outside and in, and head, and physical, of course he's going to be a success in that Manchester City side. I genuinely think you could put Shea Adams up front from Southampton and he'd score goals.
That's where I disagree. The irony in what Goldbridge has said there, though, is in the first instance, this is sensationalist nonsense that does no credit to the league. And then he comes out with a comment like that. And I mean, no disrespect to Shea Adams. Shea Adams couldn't do what Haaland does. No one has ever done what Haaland has done in good, bad, average, small, big teams. He's actually tracking to score more goals in a singular season than Messi and Ronaldo's best single season goal scoring records. He's tracking to be the highest goal scorer in a singular season in the post-war history of football. So to suggest that Shea Adams would score goals or suggest or imply lots of goals at Man City is incorrect. And how we know that is because lots of attackers have been added to this Man City team that haven't all been scoring goals. Jack Grealish doesn't score the same level of goals as Raheem Sterling was doing in a Man City shirt, although they're playing in the same types of positions. The reason that Haaland is scoring this amount of goals is because he's got a sixth sense, the ability to find the right spaces on the football pitch. Yes, being in a City team is going to present you with more opportunities than being in a Southampton team. But if Shea Adams moved to Man City, I don't believe he'd score above 15 goals in a season because he just wouldn't be in the right places. He's touch, he's speed, he's power. Shea Adams probably has not one attribute that's better than Haaland's. And I think for me, that's a sensationalist is suggesting that this is the greatest team ever. Season's already over and that Haaland's already surpassed all the great strikers in history. I think you're playing it down a bit too much there, Goldbridge.
That's how good that team is. But that takes nothing away from Erling Haaland. And I mean, it took him, an hour to score today? So they're not totally reliant on that. Cancelo was fantastic. You've got De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden. I'm sure we'll be talking about him. They're fantastic. But I completely disagree that the league is over.
And look, and I agree with Mark on that. The league is not over. The league is not over as of now. City are just the favourites. But the reason that I think people are frustrated with City, and look, I've jokingly referred to them as a cheat code. It's frustrating seeing how good they are. This is all about planning. Everything City are doing right now is about planning. The owners came in and said, we're going to spend big. But they didn't do it. And I've been talking about this for 5, 6 years. And I'm not a big enough voice. I don't have a big enough influence. I'm not respected enough for this opinion to transcend and go viral. But I've been saying it, and I'll bang it home again. They did it different to Roman Abramovich. They didn't just throw money at the situation, bring in the best manager, and you can buy whatever players you want. Roman did it that way. City did it differently. They had that element, but then they built a structure underneath it. Improve the city, men's teams, women's teams, academy players, the style of football from top to bottom, inside out of that football club matches. There is a progression plan from academy to the first team. Chelsea have started to do that more recently, but for years it didn't really exist at Chelsea Football Club. Their academy system was more of a way of loaning people out and making money, per se. City have a club plan, a club structure, a club ethos that will live beyond Pep Guardiola. But when managers like Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp leave, of course, there'll be a drop-off slightly because they also now have the best manager in the world. And Guardiola will probably at the end of his career go into the conversation of top 3 club managers of all time. He is that good. But City are here by design. And there's no reason why Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal shouldn't be in this position either. Our clubs make huge amounts of money. Our clubs have the ability to structure themselves well. Our clubs can bring in similar levels of commercial revenue. It's all possible. It's all plausible. All our owners could pump more money in. 90 to 100 million pounds every 3 seasons our owners can put into our football clubs. Do all of our clubs do that? Do FSG put 90 million, and I'm talking into the club for players for contract renewals? Do FSG, and I don't know the answer, I'm actually asking a legit question, do that? Don't know. I think the Cronkies had put money in, but the last time I read it was around 200 million since they've owned it. Maybe that's on course. The Glazers have not put a penny in. So I look at this from the point of view of Man City are where they are by design. It's not a cheat code. They've created something sensational. Whether people like how they've done it, that's another conversation to be had. But the reason that I don't bemoan it is because if next week my club was taken over by a similar group of people and structured and run in a similar way, am I going to turn my back on the club? No. Am I going to not celebrate wins? No. So the reason I don't condemn anybody now is because I would be basking in the glory if it was the other way around, and I don't want to hypocrisize myself. But on Haaland, listen, I'm gonna kind of half agree with Goldbridge. It's wrong to suggest that Shea Adams would be doing anywhere near as good as this. Shea Adams wouldn't score 15 goals in all comps playing for City. I truly believe that he wouldn't. What we're seeing right now from Haaland is unprecedented in our time. No one has ever done this in the Premier League. This is groundbreaking every game. Record breaking every game. Where I do agree with him is he isn't the best yet. He may be the best. You might think he's the best finisher, but he's got to go on to prove it now through consistency. Is the title race over? Absolutely not. Watch this space on that one. But this Man City team is, where I finally disagree with him, is this Man City team is on its way to maybe being the greatest ever. They start adding Champions Leagues to this with the amount of domestic titles they've won. I have to say they're the best based on my own opinions in the past. The reason that I put Man United's 99 and 2008 team as the best is because that team won more league titles, Champions Leagues, and domestic trophies in their spans than any other team. So therefore, if City match it or eclipse it, I can't say they're not the greatest. That's why I stand by my morals on that. But I want to know what you think and feel about Mark Goldbridge's comments there. I'm really intrigued to get your views, your opinions on it, my people. Make sure the like button is being smashed. Make sure you download the OneFootball app. Take care. Goodbye. God bless.